March 21st, 2025. India woke up to a strange headline in the Times of India. Fire at Delhi HC judge's house leads to recovery of cash pile. Wait, what? A respected judge? Mysterious sacks of cash and a fire? All in the same sentence? That's fascinating. What followed is a sequence of dramatic events. First, the Delhi Fire Service chief promptly denied everything.
Our firefighters did not find any cash during the firefighting operation. Yes.
That is what they confidently told the Hindu. Next, lawyers at the Allahabad High Court start outraging because they got wind that Justice Varma, who is in the middle of this controversy, might be transferred from Delhi High Court to Allahabad High Court. They openly declare
Allahabad High Court is not a trash bin.
Then Supreme Court issues a cryptic clarification. We have not recommended a transfer yet. Meanwhile, in Parliament, Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar makes a remark on this whole thing which brings up some old memories.
I am seized of a representation by 55 members of this House. You all will recollect if the mechanism which was passed by this House with near unanimity, with no dissension, only one abstention in Rajya Sabha, all political parties converging, that historic legislation endorsed by this Parliament with unprecedented consensual support unknown to parliamentary history of this country dealt with the Malays very severely. If the Malays had been dealt with, perhaps we would not have countenanced such kind of issues.
Yeah, what he said there might seem a bit confusing to you right now, but I have gone really deep into this and I have found out what he is talking about. That will come later in the video, so watch the whole video, please. There is a bigger game being played here. It's not just about fire or cash. It's a lot. But wait, our day of drama is still not over. At night on March 21st, Justice Upadhyay of the Delhi High Court, he sends a letter to Chief Justice of India, Sanjeev Khanna, and then it says,
So, actually, we kind of found some burnt debris after the fire, and look at this.
and it has this video. But hold on, something doesn't add up here. Because while the news exploded and all of this happened on March 21st, the fire itself happened a full week earlier. On March 14th, on the Holy Weekend. It takes an entire week for a story this big, along with the viral video of crispy burnt cash, to finally come to public. That's weird, right? Because it makes you wonder what exactly happened in those 7 mysterious days. Why was everyone from cops to courts so slow to react? What is really happening here? But there is a bigger question we need to ask beneath those burnt debris. Is our judicial system really a fortress of justice, or is it just another cozy little club trying to protect its own from public scrutiny, which is us? This is a video about sacks of cash. This is a video about suspicious transfers. This is a video about a judicial system which is desperate to bury inconvenient truths. On that, I have a bunch of thoughts. To give you a full picture of how strange this story is, let me rewind a bit and tell you what actually happened during those 7 conveniently silent days between the fire at Justice Varma's residence and when the news finally broke out publicly and the fallout, immediate fallout to that. All of this which I'm telling you was reported by the Indian Express, by the way. Let's start with March 14th, 2025, the day of the fire. At 11:43 PM, a call is made by Justice Varma's private secretary to the police police control room. There's a fire at his official residence on 30 Tughlaq Road, New Delhi. During this time, Justice Varma is away with his wife in Bhopal. Two fire engines rush to the scene, quickly extinguishing the fire which happened at an outhouse storeroom. They said it was a short circuit. After the fire is put out around midnight, 5 Delhi police officers arrived at the residence to investigate the matter. Justice Verma's personal assistant asked them to leave and return later. And they actually left. They just left. Oh, and inside the burnt showroom, lying among the debris, were 4 to 5 sacks filled with half-burnt cash. According to some estimates, it was 15 crore rupees. Crispy, crunchy currency notes mysteriously left in a storeroom on the premises of a sitting High Court judge. Lovely. Just lovely. March 15th. Early morning, the investigating officer returns, hoping to inspect the scene properly, but he's asked to come back later again, because why not? Meanwhile, the burnt debris are quietly removed from the outhouse early in the morning. At 8 a.m., the Delhi police wakes up to what happened. A casual morning briefing at the police headquarters mentions the fire incident. Yet, strangely enough, no immediate action is taken. They just sit on it the whole day. Then at 4:50 p.m., a full 17 hours after the incident, the police commissioner Sanjay Arora informs the Chief Justice of Delhi High Court Devendra Kumar Upadhyay about this fire and what they found. At 9 p.m., the Delhi High Court registrar finally visits the scene, accompanied by Justice Varma himself and his private secretary. They spend about 10 minutes inspecting the storeroom, and at this time, the burnt debris were removed. Obviously, they're gone. March 16th, Chief Justice Upadhyay does an urgent meeting with Chief Justice of India, Sanjeev Khanna. Now, things are getting a bit serious. Delhi police finally submits a report admitting that the burnt debris were actually cash. And they were there. March 17th, Chief Justice Upadhyay confronts Justice Varma at the Delhi High Court guest house. He showed him photos and video footage of the burnt cash. And what was Varma's defense? He claimed that he was being framed. Yeah, the plot thickens. March 20th. Now the pressure is really building at this point of time. Chief Justice Upadhyay sends this crucial evidence, 3 photos and a video and a detailed message to Chief Justice Khanna, Chief Justice of India. After reviewing it, Khanna suggests a quick fix. Yashwant Varma should be transferred from the Delhi High Court to the Allahabad High Court. March 21st, the matter finally explodes publicly after the Times of India reports it. Now, Chief Justice Khanna officially writes to Justice Varma, demanding explanations about the source of cash and who removed the burnt currency from the room. Meanwhile, he also orders call records and security details from everyone involved, including the officers who visited that place after the fire and then went back, then came back, then went back. All of that. March 22nd, Justice Varma replies defiantly,
Nope, never had any cash, never saw any cash, never even heard of any sacks of cash in my storeroom. Yeah, we don't know what happened there.
He even complains that nobody showed him these supposed sacks of cash as well. At this point, I think the Supreme Court realized that they have a major scandal brewing on their hands. The video of the burnt cash, which actually they put out, had gone viral. Lawyers in the Allahabad High Court had full-on started outraging. The High Court Bar Association of Allahabad issued a dramatic letter titled, "We are not a trash bin." Even Dhankar spoke in parliament expressing his worry while saying cryptic shit.
That historic legislation endorsed by this parliament with unprecedented consensual support unknown to parliamentary history of this country dealt with the Malays very severely. If the Malays had been dealt with, perhaps we would not have countenanced such kind of issues.
That thing he said, the mechanism that the parliament came up with, yeah, we'll come to that, don't worry. But it's important, remember that. I am foreshadowing it. Again, So watch the whole video. बड़ा twist आने वाला है. So following all this, on March 24th, Justice Yashwant Varma was promptly transferred to the Allahabad High Court by the Supreme Court Collegium. And the protest by lawyers in the court intensified, and they said that this will go on indefinitely until they revoke that transfer. On March 28th, the Supreme Court agreed to hear a petition seeking the registration of an FIR against Delhi High Court Judge Justice Yashwant Varma. Yes, you heard that right. One cannot simply lodge an FIR against a judge. No. The Chief Justice of India has to give permission to lodge that FIR. Now, there are many questions that come after this intense sequence of events that I told you. Why the secrecy? Why the delay? Why did the authorities seem more interested in damage control rather than actual investigation? And what was Dhankar talking about exactly? Why do judges get special treatment like this? Because as I said, this whole thing is not just about the fire, the pile of cash and the protesting lawyers, I guess. It's about accountability and transparency and justice. Actual justice. All of which seem to have gone up in the flames and become burnt debris. Before we get to all that, let me tell you a little bit more about the man of the month. Say hello to Justice Yashwant Varma. Justice Varma studied at Hansraj College, Delhi University, before earning his law degree from Rewa University in Madhya Pradesh. After enrolling as an advocate in 1992, Varma spent over 2 decades practicing law at the Allahabad High Court, specializing in constitutional law, labor disputes, corporate cases, and taxation. He became a judge in 2006 and was the standing counsel for the UP government as well. He came to the Delhi High Court in October 2021 and was the third most senior judge. He has dealt with some significant cases, by the way. I will mention 2 of them. Remember how the bank accounts of Indian National Congress, our largest opposition party, were frozen right before the last general elections in 2024? Yeah, when the Congress took that case to court, guess who the judge was? Yeah, this guy. He also dealt with a case which involved defining the investigative boundaries of the Enforcement Directorate. Or is it the Extortion Directorate? ED. Anyway, he was a judge there as well. I'm not going to make any allegations or raise eyebrows about this because या मेरी फटती है या मैं एक छोटा सा यूट्यूबर हूँ और वो लोग बड़े लोग हैं सो आई एम नॉट गोइंग टू स्पेक्यूलेट हियर अबाउट व्हाट हैपेंड व्हाट द जजमेंट्स मेंट एंड anything of that sort. Yeah, do your own research. Yeah, just go and do your own research. Anyway, there was this one other controversy involving Justice Varma as well. Back in 2018, he was directly named in a CBI investigation related to a massive bank fraud involving Sambhauli sugar mills. At that time, Varma was serving as a non-executive director of that company. What happened is the Oriental Bank of Commerce disbursed over 148 crore rupees to help farmers purchase fertilizers and seeds. The allegation was that Sambhauli sugar mills took that money with complicity of bank officials and allegedly embezzled it through falsified documents. Meaning the money never went to the farmers and the people just ate it. Those Sambhauli people and also bank officials just nom burp. Allegedly. Interestingly, Sambhauli Sugar Mills wasn't exactly a small-time operation either. Its deputy managing director was Gurpal Singh, who is the son-in-law of the then Punjab Chief Minister Amrinder Singh. In December 2023, 5 years later, the Allahabad High Court ordered a fresh CBI investigation into this loan fraud. They found evidence of collusion among multiple banks and company officials, including board members like Yashwant Varma. In February 2024, the court directed the CBI to resume the investigation. And then Supreme Court swoops in and stays the investigation on March 19th, 2024. This timeline is interesting. Again, I'm not saying anything, I'm only stating facts, but please look up 2 things. The date of hearing of the Congress bank account freezing case and the dates of how this other Sambhauli case was progressing. All I'm saying is that this is all just coincidence. It happened right before the general elections. Just coincidence, obviously. I give only facts. Now, fast forward to the present day. March 2025, and Justice Varma is caught in another scandal involving bags of cash in his house. Justice Varma has refused to make further comments and he has gone on leave. The Supreme Court Collegium has initiated an inquiry behind closed doors, and we totally trust the top court to take swift, decisive action. Bring down the hammer of Justice Supreme Court. Yes, because that is totally going to happen. Facts. So one thing is clear, Justice Varma is a very important man. In both controversies that involved him, the Supreme Court intervened and put a wrench in the investigations as well. I don't know about you, but all of this looks kind of shady. I'm just saying it. Tell me, when judges who define our laws themselves stand accused of corruption, how can the public trust the system they are meant to uphold? Plus, if a judge is caught in a corruption case, then there is a high chance that the government can just release their investigative agencies and use that as leverage to get favorable judgments in their favor. Just a theory. So, here's the big question. Is our judiciary more interested in protecting their own or actually doing their job of delivering justice? How are we supposed to How exactly are corruption allegations against judges handled in India? Short answer, secretly, vaguely, and often without consequences. Long answer, it's complicated. When accusations emerge against a judge, the Supreme Court allows a cozy internal process called an in-house inquiry. This procedure was established back in 1999 and the public had no idea what this is until 2014. Seriously, it was just like, oh, हाँ हम ये कर रहे हैं in 1999, and then when people asked how, they were like, रुक जाओ थोड़ा सा, and then in 2014 they told people how they do it. Here's how it works. 1. A complaint lands on the Chief Justice of India's desk. He decides if it's serious enough or just random allegations or even gossip. Number 2. If it is serious, then the CJI asks the accused judge and their High Court's Chief Justice for responses. 3. If the CJI is not convinced with the responses, then a 3-judge committee is set up. Usually it's 2 Chief Justices from other High Courts and 1 High Court judge. 4. This committee digs deeper, does an investigation, and then gives its verdict. 5. If the misconduct is minor, then the judge gets like a polite warning. If it's major, then they are quietly asked to resign. 6. If they refuse, then the matter is allowed to go to Parliament, where the judge can be actually tried for impeachment. Impeachment proceedings against the Supreme Court or High Court judges have been initiated only 4 times in our history by the Parliament. And that has never ever resulted in the actual removal of a judge. Important to note, the findings of the in-house committee, in-house inquiry, are kept confidential. And the public, which is you and me, they are kept in the dark. And even in this case, the committee is not under any obligation to tell us what really happened, where that whole cash came from, why was everybody so quiet, nothing. They have no obligation. Why is everything so hush-hush? Because of the infamous collegium system. In India, a select club of senior Supreme Court judges decide who gets elevated, who gets transferred, and who gets shielded from a scandal. Officially, the constitution under Article 222 says judges can be transferred by the president after consulting the CJI. But the judiciary kinda hijacked this entire process in the early 90s. They established the collegium through 3 landmark rulings. So today, transfers like Justice Varma's back to Allahabad High Court are done quietly, and then they are justified vaguely later as public interest or better administration of justice. This system has virtually no external oversight, making it nearly impossible to distinguish genuine transfers from punishment or just damage control. Transfers without consent often become a tool for sidelining troublesome judges. Like we see in this case. I mean, what else is that? And who decides which judge is being naughty? The collegium does, of course. This has been going on since the 90s. Brother judges choose other brother judges and don't feel the need to tell us why they picked our justice delivery men. It has resulted in entire dynasties within the judicial system. It has led to sexism, casteism, like सब ब्राह्मण बनिया लोग बैठे हुए हैं. I didn't say that, Kunal said it.
Indian Supreme Court is a Brahman Baniya arbitration center. तो इस पे कोई कंटेम्प्ट ऑफ कोर्ट डालेगा, पर क्या वो 3 जज की बेंच बिठा पाएगा जिसमें ब्राह्मण बनिया ना हो? तो अगर ये मैं कह भी दूं तो ऐसी बेंच बैठने में ही 20 साल निकल जाएंगे, तो कह ही देनी चाहिए ना फिर.
But then came along one man who was like,
No, this is not cool. This is not great. I don't like it. We need a better system. We need reform, guys. So let's change it.
that person was Shri Sir Supreme Leader Adarniya Narendraji Modi ji, the first of his name. Remember that Dhankar clip I keep teasing about for this entire video? Yeah, he was reminding everyone of what Adarniya Supreme Leader did. So, back in 2014, the Modi government brought in a law called the National Judicial Appointments Commission, or NJAC. It had one singular objective: dismantle the collegium system. The NJAC established a commission for judge appointments and transfers. As its members, it would have the CJI, 2 senior Supreme Court judges, the Union Law Minister, and 2 eminent civil society members. This law was unanimously passed by Parliament 10 years ago in 2015, and it was ratified by 17 state legislatures as well, since this was a constitutional amendment. But guess what? In 2015, the Supreme Court struck it down. They struck down the NJC and called it unconstitutional because it compromised judicial independence. They called a change in the constitution, which was made unanimously by Parliament, unconstitutional. Shocking. I genuinely don't get that. When it was struck down, one judge dissented. His name was Justice Jasti Chalumeshwar. He called the collegium a system of unwholesome trade-offs and incestuous accommodations. Another judge from the majority, Justice Kurian Joseph, he later openly regretted striking down the NJAC when it came to his table. He called the collegium system crippled by lack of transparency, accountability, and credibility. Even former Supreme Court Judge Ruma Pal called this process one of the best kept secrets in this country, citing rampant internal lobbying and dubious appointments. So, this is bullshit, right? But what can we do about it? Can we do anything about it? I have a bunch of thoughts. Okay, look, here is the blunt truth. With an opaque club like the Collegium who decides who gets to become a judge, scandals like these, the cash thing, are kinda inevitable. Without transparency, the judiciary risks becoming a cozy cartel of favors, secrecy, and convenient cover-ups. The damage isn't just to the institution, it is to justice itself. Because every shady transfer, every suspicious elevation, and every unanswered corruption scandal chips away the trust of people in the courts. And justice without public trust becomes nothing but a hollow ritual. But hold on, before you jump to conclusions, let me make one thing clear. The other extreme, where politicians actually gain control over judicial appointments, is also kinda terrifying. I mean, do you really trust our netas to appoint unbiased judges? I don't. I genuinely don't. I repeat, I do not want our politicians to appoint judges. But at the same time, if the judges are appointing judges in such an opaque system, where do we go from here? Both are not great. There has to be a middle ground, right? Here's a wild idea. Why not form an appointment committee headed by MPs, judges, senior lawyers, eminent citizens, and civil society representatives? Let them publicly interview judicial candidates and live stream the entire process for everyone to see. Just imagine the spectacle. A potential judge who is sweating the good sweats while MPs and public figures grill them on their past judgments, their past controversies, like did you have cash when your outhouse burnt down? Or their judicial philosophy. You know, what do you think about LGBTQ plus rights? What do you think about free speech? What is your opinion about the enforcement directorate and caged parrot agencies? That would be fun, right? Imagine citizens actually knowing who the judges are, how they think, and why they are being selected. Sure, at the end of the day, let the judges make the final call. That's fine, but at least then we'll understand why someone is getting promoted or transferred. No more shadowy collegium meetings, no more mysterious transfer disguised as public interest or delivery of justice. No more secret handshakes and winks behind closed doors. Because transparency isn't complicated. It's the best disinfectant we have against corruption in general. Let the sunlight in, let people see how decisions are made, and frankly, I don't think anyone should have a problem with this approach. Unless, of course, they have something to hide, like a giant pile of burning cash debris. That's all for this video. I will see you next time. Friends, thank you so much for watching this video, and please do consider subscribing. Please do consider supporting this channel. As a creator, we need your support. Yeah, I'm trying to reach 100k. You must have noticed I'm like a little close. मुझे silver button चाहिए. So please subscribe. अच्छा लगेगा. Silver button पीछे. Yeah. Also, please check out our merch store. You must be wondering what this is. This is called Bunch of Merch. We have some very nerdy, nice little merch. You can scan this QR code and then go to our website and find some amazing merch there which you will love. We have notebooks, we have stickers, we have pop sockets, and we have many things. This is limited edition merch, by the way. If you buy it now, you might get it, but later you might not, because it's limited edition. That is what it means. Anyway, thank you. Also, I have a suggestion for you in the end. If you are someone who is earning, who is getting a good salary, I recommend you create something called a creator fund. You know, every month just decide that, I have 5,000 rupees extra which I'm going to distribute amongst creators that I like. Creators, and also newspapers like Indian Express, The Hindu, which are doing some great journalism. Honestly guys, what we are doing is public utility. We are doing it for free, but we also have to pay rent. So it would really mean a lot if you guys support your favorite creators. It can be me or it can be someone else. But please do consider doing this, because genuinely, we need your support. Thank you so much.